What happens to you and your squad when you go to the last fight of the year, the biggest of the battles? Do you save your season? You win it all? Or do you watch the team that you helped build blow up in a cauldron of smoldering personalities and collapsed dreams? The fuse for your success or your doom is lit long before the big show. Before the show is the work. The prelude to the fight is always and should always be the grind of the game.
What a lot of people might not know is we had a very lousy practice by any standards. I mean, I think we got beat up really badly by Uprising. We even got beat up by the local divisional team. The impact practice did not go fantastic either. We lost Dalton at the end of that practice. Just didn't have the most confidence in what our game plans were and how everybody was playing. And it's always good to have a really struggling practice going into World Cup. The problem is you don't want to go in there going, what the hell are we even going to do?
From last place to first, and for everyone in between, this work defines what you would call luck. These last few weekends before your trial of performance is a chance to change your future, to nudge the fates just a bit further your way.
We don't care what anybody says. We're out here to work hard. We're here to play with our friends. That's the end of the day. This is a team that has grown up through the divisions, played together, and the only reason we're still playing is because we can play with each other. The relationships on this team just mean the world to everybody.
Some would argue that the pressure's off. We expect to have a difficult draw and some hard-fought games in Florida.
We picked up an extra body, Tom Guest. He's going to help with me. And then having Shorty play well and having Anthony play well and Jesse and Meter and Archie. Now we have a lot of bodies. Everyone's playing well.
Mouse is somebody who loves this game. Simple as that. The dude watches paintball all the time. If not the best, one of the best top-rated snake players in the game, right? But you don't see him take a day off. He's always out here. He's either working out, he's coming out and drilling, whatever the case is. And it's honestly awesome to still see that hunger. How many events that dude has won, how long he's been playing. And he's still out here almost every weekend practicing, drilling, making his art form that much better.
The last tournament of the year, it's you either putting the staple on the season or just quickly being forgot about. And it's how you end the season. I think going off Chicago with the performance that we had as a team, I think it's actually good timing if you're going to have a performance like that, because it humbled us and it reminded us we have to keep working, and we have to keep working harder than we did at the start of the year. And there's no better time than now to have that wake-up call going into Cup.
Now we come to Indiana for practicing over here. We have all team coming. 2 weeks before we're practicing on field layout this, and after we flying to Orlando and practicing on CFP against like ML Kings, Iron Man, Level Up. Long time don't win, that's why this is so big for us. I want my players come back and we show what we can do, yeah, and we show our paintball.
You can watch. This is what they do in 2019.
Slow motion, можно ли?
We're going to spend 11 days again in Orlando, being acclimated to the weather, play at different fields, play against different teams, get as many different looks as we can. All the off days will be drill days. We're going to prepare the same way that we prepared for the last couple events, where we, felt that we had the best chance to win.
That's what I mean. I'll make us look terrible.
So we're out here at Level Up Sports. This is where we practice, and Dave has built an unbelievable facility for us here. We've got 2 turf fields. We've got everything we need to grind. And we're right here in Columbus, right in the middle of Ohio, and heart of it all, and in the heart of it all. We know we need to put in the work going into Cup, and it's going to take a lot of effort to beat some of these teams who are going to be out for blood after we beat them last event.
This is, I think, competitive-wise, has been the toughest season. Because I'm fucking putting in more work than I ever have, and it's still a close race.
Yeah, I mean that's.
My goal was to set the bar, and break, records, but paintball had a different.
Were we speeding for that? Did you get that? Oh, perfect.
World Cup. Just the two words put together will send a spark through a paintball player's mind. Here is the year's final battle. For some, it is just a giant party with some paintball mixed in. But for a select few, their performances here haunt the history of our game, either as a positive signpost, sending inspiration to generations, or as a cautionary tale of this sport's inherent difficulty. One pro team will win it all and become immortal, and one team will have their pro dreams dashed and head back down to the semi-pro division. In addition, a semi-pro team will move up.
So I would run out to the floor, wrap, and put paint here. And
it's like, I don't think we're going in like, hey, we got to win it, we got to do this. I think we're going in now just trying to enjoy the moment and not worry about the past, not worry about the future, just focus on the moment. So I think we're trying to get back to that rather than create like, we got to win this event. We're here to win. It's like, everyone's there to win, you know? So I think we're just trying to get back to being what XFactor is about and just being a family that has fun beating people in paintball.
World Cup is the biggest event in the world, period. And when you show up to World Cup, there's an energy there that is unmatched. You can feel it. You can physically feel it. And I don't know how to explain it. I've had the feeling from the very first World Cup that I ever went to in 2005, all the way until now. Every single year, it's like, it's special. There's something in the air. There's a certain smell. There's a certain aura. There's a certain energy. Everybody knows that it's your last chance to showcase everything you've worked for the entire year.
Really, what I have learned is that I'm not actually trying to win the tournaments, I'm trying to win the moments. Those moments might not end in a first place finish, but they still end in victory. I realize the nuance of why you're actually there.
At the 2021 World Cup, iconic legends in our sport were in the running for the series title. 3 teams had a chance to seal the series with a win. Impact, Infamous, and Dynasty were all within 13 points of each other at the top of the standings. And Heat wasn't that far back in 4th place. The race at the top had never been tighter. But though it was legends yet again out in front, one of the defining aspects of the 2021 NXL season was the improvement of the teams ranked farther down in the division.
You usually would scout teams that have a tendency to make the Sundays, but now that range is starting to widen. It's definitely been an interesting year as far as competition. I know the pro division this year, more guys are working harder than probably ever in the pro division, not to take away from any generation in years past, but it's got to be the most competitive it's ever been. But I respect that. You know, as a purist from the sport, I truly endure that.
2021 NXL World Cup, baby! Houston!
Going into World Cup, it's not just about going and playing another paintball tournament. It's every event that has led up to World Cup, all the games, the wins and losses, the role of the momentum throughout the year. But it's before that, it's the end of World Cup last year, how you felt, everything that changed, all the preparation you put going into the season, all the off-season stuff, all the film study.
Teams that do really well historically are the teams that come out of the grinder brackets. If you just skate through, like, you never want to have the division going into World Cup where it's like, oh, cakewalk, this is gonna be great, and you go 7-0, 7-0, 7-0. And that's the case for a lot of these top teams, is you'll go in there and you'll have such an easy prelims, and then you go in there and it's like, whoa, who's this Harrison Fry guy and what the hell is he doing to us? And nobody's done that to us before. So it's definitely good to have that sort of wake-up call in that moment to be able to fight through it.
You are getting the best of the best. You have the most people there watching. You have the most people tuned into the webcast. You have the biggest vendor section. It is the biggest event in the world. If you win that event, it's really special. It's everything.
Though Baltimore Revo didn't get past the semifinals at the last event, They earned a ton of respect for knocking out Impact and Heat en route to their 4th place finish with a depleted roster. At World Cup, their roster was a bit stronger with the return of Steven O'Mara, but they were still down Frank Antetomaso. The only team that they had problem with in the prelims was the Russian Legion, as they took wins from the Outlaws, DMG, and Infamous. They matched up in the other wildcard game with Tampa Bay Damage. Damage also went 3-1, dropping a game to Impact, but even with that record, just like Revo, with the close wins, they were forced to play in the wildcard round. Still, this was an improvement for Tampa Bay Damage from the past 2 events where they took 11th twice. This team has a history of greatness, and their roster is still chock full of veteran killers. After the 3rd place at the beginning of the year, another low finish here at the World Cup would have been disaster. We didn't know it at the time. This would also be Brad McCurley's last day of pro competition, since he would retire after this event.
So going into Sunday, we drew Revo, and Revo has been one of those kind of wild card teams that has really somewhat evolved more into a staple on Sunday, and a team that you really have to, make sure that your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted when you're going to go up against those guys. For us personally, we felt really confident against them in the way that we lined up in our game plan and from what we saw. But that being said, we knew that you can't really count them out, and we were ready for a dogfight.
Jumping into this first point here, Baltimore Revo wildcard round. This looks like Damage deciding not to go pocket.
Damage came out aggressively in the first point, but they could not take advantage of good position. Revo played solid counterpunch paintball to take the early lead. But Damage was able to tie it up by getting early kills on the D side in the next point.
They're in D3. There's no one over there at all for Revo. All 3 bodies for Revo's on the snake side of the field. But it does look like there's only 1 body left alive, and it's Zupa in the back corner bunker.
Then Revo took the lead back in the 3rd point with Mike Zupa starting off the offense by getting creative and blasting through the snake side.
Is that Zupa? Yeah, Zupa comes out, gets that kill on Chad, and then takes a little bit too big of a bite right here as Keith just tucks in. And then Keith Brown takes over the attack, and then same thing here is that Keith pushes forward into a gun. So got a little taste of his own medicine.
Damage again answered in the next point. It was 4-4 off the break, but Brian Smith and Keith Brown worked down the snake side to tie the game. It was now 2-2 with only 5 minutes and 5 seconds left after some longer points. The whole game had been a bloodbath on the break, and this crucial point also started 4-4 after more early deaths. Keith Brown pushed into the 50 snake, riding on the razor's edge of aggression and getting a 2-pack before he was caught, not knowing that a body had snuck out to the back corner. Then the battle in the snake side went down between Zupa and Smith. Zupa pushed hard, but Smith wouldn't bite until Smith launched an attack of his own and traded out. Jason and Jacob Edwards finished off the point, and Damage took the lead.
Zupa had Smith for a second there, but Smith able to dodge that stream and get back in alive. Chris Shear is going to try to get through the zone, but just gets blasted 2 or 3 times actually. That's a 50-yard line here for Tampa Bay Damage, and Jacob gets the shot in on Zaleski. They need to concede this immediately.
Probably conceded a little bit ago.
So going into the point when it was 3-2, there was a minute and change left in the match. We went into our hold play. And of course, whenever you go into your hold play, that never seems to work. I believe we lost 2 on the break and all hell broke loose. So we ended up losing the point. They tied it to take it to overtime.
Revo just needs a little beat here to try to figure out that they did all the work already.
Yeah, plenty of time. It's going to be overtime.
The overtime point also started out 4-4. The teams jostled in gunfights, playing smart and getting into good positions until they were all locked up at the 40 and 50-yard lines.
Doritos there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, better field position right now for Tampa Bay Damage.
So I pressed myself into the big snake brick right next to Keith to protect him, as well as to try to work with him to dig out that body.
McCurley in a good spot here at the brick. He's also zoned up in case if Zupa wants to launch, he does not know that McCurley is there right now.
Knowing that we're down bodies, we couldn't just trade with that guy, putting us in a 3-on-4 situation, which is thus harder to bring back. So at that point, the 4 of us knew where all the bodies were and knew we had to dig a body back. So everybody kind of hunkered in, knowing that we had all the zones covered and forced them to make mistakes. So Matt Derula was the first to make the move to try to dig Chad out of Doritos, and Chad made a good play to shoot Matt prior to that happening, thus bringing it to a 4-on-4. I mean, there was probably a 2.5 minute stalemate before that. So we're talking maybe 60 seconds in the game at this point. Keith goes and trades with Dan Zaleski in the 50 snake. Knowing that Keith cleared the side, I knew I had a body somewhat in front of me, but I decided to be the aggressor, to be the first one in there, and I immediately came to the top looking for him, which I caught him immediately, thus freeing up my entire side. Take 2 steps, wrap, shoot Chris Shear in the back, and that was game.
Then Chris Shear gets taken out, and Brad McCurley is going to save the day.
In the end, it was Brad McCurley who played the hero on the snake side in his last day as a pro paintball player, with the help on the D side from Chad Bougier to get their team into the quarterfinals and keep the World Cup hopes alive.
It was another opportunity to continue our chance to win an event together, win a World Cup, and honestly do it for Tim, because the closest we got was with Tim. You know, we really wanted to do it for him, and for me, coming to the culmination of my career, it just felt right.
Let's go! Connor Kelly, baby! Sunday! Bro!
We will be seeing them, baby.
Let's go!
Let's go!
Go to Sunday! Woo! Sunday Club, let's go!
Fucking do it.
Sunday Club this way, come on, let's go!
World Cup is super special. You know, everybody's at their best, playing 100%. And for us making Sunday at World Cup, that's a huge statement. We've made a lot of progress, especially this year, when we pick up a lot of new guys, and we're finally getting it together. And we're looking good, looking strong, and now we're on our way to Sunday.
The ML Kings were the last hope of the true underdogs. World Cup did not start out well for the Kings. They were mercy ruled by Houston Heat in their first prelim match. But this improving squad stayed focused, and they stepped up with 3 wins in a row over Uprising, XFactor, and Extreme to move on. And if you can beat XFactor, you can beat anybody.
This is definitely a huge relief, you know, like we've been getting this pressure, right? Because like we're like one of the last places, and we could have gotten relegated this event. And now we just came back. We did super good. You know, we just gotta keep this up. We're not getting relegated anymore, and now we're really looking to win this event.
They matched up with Aftermath in the Wildcard Round. This was Aftermath's 3rd Sunday appearance of the year. They had a clean run through their first 3 games in the prelims, with close wins over AC Dallas, the Ironman, and AC Diesel, before dropping to Dynasty. They were missing a few key players that helped them early on in the season, and they were also without their core leader, as owner Mike Hinman wasn't able to make the trip. But they still had the core of their starting lineup, and their all-star, Thomas Kim, who was primed to solidify his status as one of the premier players in the game with his consistency and his attacking ability. This wildcard game proved to be one of the most evenly matched battles of the year. For Aftermath, getting Cody Chong up on the snake side had been one of the key factors of them moving on to Sunday. And in the first point, the ML Kings sweet spotted Chong off the break, but then they ruined their advantage by getting a minor penalty. Aftermath closed it out to take the lead.
You can see this just saved Kyle the beating. It's 4-on-1 or 5-on-1 here.
The Kings then tied it up in the next point. Louis Betancourt continued his relentless attack that had aided him in earning a starting spot on this roster of up-and-coming killers, but he was caught pushing forward. Connor Kelly came through, though, to finish for the Kings.
And he's going to get that kill. So Connor Kelly saves one here for the ML Kings.
In the next point, it was John Peterson's turn for the Kings to push past the 50 on the D side, and after getting Aftermath's guns to turn, it allowed Navarro to go to work.
Comes the ML Kings down the Doritos side, Matty.
Past the 50 right now, and at the 50 there in the center tower. Cody Chong runs through. He gets taken out by Navarro, but looks like Kelly alive again here to hit that buzzer. ML Kings, full court press from them.
The ML Kings had a 2-1 lead. In the next point, after a 5-on-5 break, Betancourt was back into attack mode in the 50 snake, but Thomas Kim pushed up on the D side, getting kills, and with Ramirez, they closed out the point to tie. Both teams fought back and forth until the game was tied 3-3, with just 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in regulation.
Matty.
That is a massive kill. Shooting Thomas Kim is so important. And
smart concede right there, Matty.
Hallberg making a big move down the snake side, getting the player for ML Kings clean. Aftermath going to tie this game up with a little bit less than 3 minutes left, Matty.
The ML Kings shot both Chong and Hallberg off the snake side. Brandon Unger still went forward, but the low body situation was too much, and the Kings took the lead with just 1 minute and 30 seconds left. With barely any time left, Aftermath focused on the break, and they secured enough quick kills to score a point in a little over a minute. The game went into overtime. Knowing that Betancourt would push into the snake again, Aftermath put guns that way and they shot him off the break, and then they locked up lanes with the one-body advantage. With 2:45 left, Chong went into the 50 snake looking for a way forward as the ML Kings held the line. Aftermath pushed into the guns, and Thomas Kim almost won the battle again down the D side, but time expired, and the game would be decided by one-on-ones. The ML Kings sent out Connor Kelly, and Aftermath brought out Thomas Kim. Kelly played more aggressive, choosing to work down the snake's side, but Thomas Kim was too crafty. He set the perfect trap in the middle, and he did not miss a shot.
They can lose you easily there.
Here comes Thomas Kim down low. He's going to close the gap and kind of set a little bit of a trap.
I don't think he knew.
Yeah, Connor Kelly, ideally in a one-on-one. Oh, and he did exactly what he needed to do here. He set the trap for Connor Kelly as Connor Kelly had no idea he was there, and Thomas Kim continues to impress year after year, pounds his chest.
The Kings had a good look in a loss, but their World Cup hopes would die here as Aftermath advanced to the quarterfinals.
We're ready. I don't think people are sleeping on us yet, but I still think people view us as the lower team. So we're here to prove what we can do, who we are, and what SDA represents.
Aftermath was playing pretty well, but they were playing kind of a weird style. You know, I feel like they were a little disjointed in their attack. It seemed like they had a couple of players that were really kind of set on being defensive and a couple of players that were set on being aggressive. And I feel like that got them through some of their matches, but ultimately I feel like that was kind of the downfall of their game plan.
Just play, bro. Just play.
Hey, we'll see you in a little bit.
You're the fucking calls to the fucking pussies, dude.
XFactor's journey to Sunday through the prelims was a wild ride. They started with a mercy roll win over Uprising, but then they dropped a one-point game to a much improved ML Kings. They bounced right back with a 6-0 destruction of New York Extreme. Then their last game was against Heat, and they needed a win to avoid the possibility of playing in the Wildcard Round. They went down by 3, but they stormed back to take the victory in a high-scoring shootout. It would be San Antonio XFactor versus Edmonton Impact in the quarterfinals. Impact looked absolutely dominant in their first 3 prelim matches, winning by a combined score of 19-1 over Thunder, Level, and Energy Elite. They then took down Damage by 2 to go undefeated. Make no mistake, based on what we saw in the prelims, Impact was the favorite at this event.
You know, going into that match against XFactor, had a pretty sound game plan across the board. They played a really strong game against us. The biggest things are obviously, you know, have to watch Archie getting down that Dorito side. Colt was shooting really well off the break, and somehow they just were able to keep doing it. Was Billy just going to the snake off the break every time.
XFactor started strong and they took the early lead. In the first 2 points, their zone control and off-the-break shots were dialed. But Impact was able to shoot Billy Bernacci off the break in the 3rd point, and a couple more kills quickly followed, and Impact was on the board. These two teams battled back and forth, but XFactor kept the edge. It was then 4-2, with 7 minutes and 27 seconds left in what would be the crucial point.
And it's kind of blow for blow, those early points, and they just got the best of those, you know, those blow for blow bodies.
It was 4-on-4 as Kyle Spica pushed into the 50 snake. He moved into guns knowing that he had to try to make something happen.
We maybe lose a body and then we put so much focus on that one guy and they would come bring us another threat on the other side or through the middle.
And there goes Archie. Archie improves his position into D2. So it's a 3-on-4 situation in favor of XFactor.
But XFactor again had the zones controlled and they won the technical battle. Their lead would hold and XFactor would advance. Impact was eliminated from the competition.
They just overpowered us and overwhelmed us and didn't let us breathe in those times that we needed to come back. That came from them doing an excellent job shooting a guy off the break pretty consistently, us not getting an even amount of those kills back. Teams come back like 3 points in a row. Like, they didn't let us do that. And usually we can do that. So, hats off to them in that match, because they did a really excellent job.
So that is going to do it here, as they're going to let that time expire. And so San Antonio XFactor answers the call here. They knock out the #1 seed at this tournament. Edmonton Impact is going home early, get knocked out of the quarterfinal.
We got a rematch going into this next one. Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
The more energy we can fucking soak in right now, the better we're going to be. That's all that fucking matters. All right, let's do this shit. Hey, we play at noon. Hey, quiet team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, we play at noon.
Good job. God bless America, man. We're able to have this amazing tournament here. Thank you, NXL. Thank you, HK Army, DLX, Houston Heat, playing some good team ball. We're having some fun. We're coming for that trophy. Let's get it.
Houston Heat is always a big favorite at World Cup because they have been an absolute monster at this event since the team's inception 10 years ago.
I feel like, being an outsider, Houston Heat definitely has some World Cup magic, as we like to call it. Having won a few World Cups, a bunch of nail biters, a bunch of close games. Having guys like Mishka that have won 8 World Cups, I believe, and Fedorov has won 7 World Cups, and I think the other guys have won 2 or 3 World Cups.
In Houston Heat's first 3 prelim games at Cup, they looked dominant, with big wins over the ML Kings, New York Extreme, and Uprising. But then they lost a close match to XFactor, which was one of the most entertaining games of the year. They say fortune favors the bold, and Houston Heat prides themselves on playing a bold brand of paintball. But so do their quarterfinal opponents, the Russian Legion, arguably the most successful World Cup team in the modern era. The Russians have been lethal at the World Cup, also winning this event 3 times and taking second a record 6 times. Anytime that Heat matches up with the Russians, you have to remember that the core of Heat's starting lineup has contained some of the best Russians ever to play the game. And this year, Konstantin Fedorov and the original Russian superstar Mishka Kiesnev have become pillars of the Heat starting lineup once again. Both teams always have a little extra motivation when they match up against each other.
It's always going to be a big game for our Russians versus their Russians, right? Like Konstantin Fedorov, I don't know if there's another team that he likes beating more than the Russians. Mishka may not say it, but you can see the smile on his face too. But, those guys love going head to head with the Russians.
In the first point, Heat struck early, demolishing the Russians on the break.
As Fedorov just one balls Smotrov, as Smotrov lifts his loader off in frustration, and that's just a terrible first point here for the Russians.
Very polite from one Russian to another Russian. One ball for you, my friend.
I would have done that.
In the second point, the Russians would again hemorrhage bodies on the break, but rising star Leo Smotrov pushed into the guns on the Snake side. He was unstoppable, and the Russians tied it up.
That second point just goes to show that he's a guy that can take over a game at any point.
It's going to be a 3-on-3 situation here, and actually, wow, so Smotrov's going off here on the Snake side. He's going to get a 4-pack here for Leo Smotrov.
What happens when he gets a loader that works? He shoots 4 guys.
The next point was close, as Smotrov again pushed forward, getting kills inside, but his team lost too many bodies. As Fedorov and Heat pushed forward, Harmon hit the buzzer to pull away by 1.
Live for the Russians. Oh, but look at this, Smotrov's getting kills again. He's got to shoot Tyler down the sidelines. He doesn't. Tyler gets a shot on him.
So it's only Tyler Harmon left.
But though Smotrov shined early, it was Chad George who shined brighter and longer. He shredded the Russians point after point.
Got 4 guys Snake side, and let's see what Chad George can do.
Smotrov taking a deep walk, Matty.
Oh, this is huge. So Chad George also going to come through.
Oh, Chad George gets them all, Matt.
Oh, wow.
Chad George with a grenade.
Yeah, Chad George goes through, just double barrel shotgun here, and blasts everybody.
Our team goes as Chad George goes. We're very lucky to have Chad George, the best Snake player in the game, on our team. When Chad is going off, then the best thing that we can do is support him. I think the best thing that happened to us this year is getting Tyler Harmon, because Tyler Harmon is an elite professional, and to be able to put somebody like him behind Chad to help Chad do his job the best that he can do his job was a huge pickup for us. And getting Chad out there, even if he gets shot on the break, he never gets down. He just comes right back in. I'm like, Snake on the break again? He's like, Snake on the break again. Here we go. He was in Top Gun. I don't know if you guys saw that movie. He's just got the need for speed. He just wants to run. He wants to go fast. He wants to get in your face and You know, when he hits the jets, you know, it's just, you know.
With multiple weapons working, Houston Heat look primed to go deep at the World Cup yet again.
You could meet XFactor again later on today. You and Archie, you exchanged some words on the field. Any thoughts there?
I mean, it's like we practiced with XFactor a couple weeks ago, so we know each other real well. It's, you know, that's, I mean, all the arguments on the field. Out of the field, we just still like the paintball community. This is it.
Chad's going to hit the afterburners. He's going to fully commit and jump in, and that is going to do it. See Malloy throw his pot into the ground as they're going to get mercy ruled. Chad George waving bye to the Russians as they're going to be packing their bags and heading home.
It's a long flight.
There's a lot of variables in paintball we can't control. We can control our own effort and focus, okay? So we need 100% of that. Sir. Let's go. 3 more wins, boys.
Team Squad! Heading into the World Cup, Infamous had been the most consistent team of the year through 3 events. They got off to a slow start in the prelims, with a loss to Revo in their first game of the tournament, but they rallied back with 3 wins in a row over the Outlaws, DMG, and the Russians, securing a berth in the quarterfinals, where they matched up with San Diego Aftermath. Infamous got off to a slow start in point number 1, losing gunfights as Aftermath took the early lead. But Infamous got it right back in the second point though, winning gunfights of their own.
Just been great to get Zach Paintia back into the fold, coming out of his little mini retirement or whatever it was, but
Aftermath then had a hard time keeping bodies alive in point 3, and Infamous looked like they should cruise to a 1-point lead. But Josh Hallberg stepped up to save the point by getting kills from the Snake. Ramirez ran down Fry to finish the point, take the lead.
Hallberg just got a 3 back.
Yeah, Hallberg's wrecking shop over here.
These 2 teams would go blow for the rest of the match. Infamous fought back to take the lead 4-3 with just 2 minutes and 28 seconds left. But Aftermath still had some fight left in him as Thomas Kim went all the way to D3 on the break, and Cody Chong got right into the Snake. Infamous only had 3 bodies left after the beginning of the point, and Aftermath brought the score to 4-4. Harrison Fry and Zach Patient almost stole the win at the end of regulation time, but they needed just another half second as time expired.
15 seconds left to go.
Not enough time.
Harrison's not going to have enough time. He's got to go into 2 guns. And then Callie's going to try to send it. He gets clipped, and here comes Patient, might get it.
The game went into overtime. Infamous shot Brandon Unger off the break, and then they confidently made their way forward, playing the aggressor. Callie Rudolph, Harrison Fry, Greg Sewers, and Zach Patient all played like a brutal machine, closing out the point, taking the win, and sending Aftermath home.
These situations. Oh, look at this. That's a beautiful little job. Greg comes across. I don't know if that was, I think that was Greg that made that little inside move to get that shot in on Aftermath's player at the brick. And now Zach's going to launch, but I think he did get clipped inside. Callie's going to move up, try to put the pinch on that tower. Here comes Harrison. No, both those guys coming off. So Los Angeles Infamous going to punch their ticket into the semifinals.
Good on them.
Play San Diego Dynasty, and it's just a very calm, composed, yet aggressive play across the field. No one.
And great match for Aftermath. Great event for Aftermath. They did an amazing job here. Went 3-1 in the prelims, didn't they? And then
all things
lost a super close game to Infamous.
All things considered, a really good look
for both teams.
Aftermath.
Yeah, for both teams.
Go, boys. Way to be still 2 done. Let's go. Off the break that, huh? 14, let's go. Still 2 done, baby. Way to go. 1 more year. Let's go, Callie. He's only to do that. He had just died before. Yeah. Way to be. Way to be.
In the prelims, San Diego Dynasty looked every bit the team who had won the last event. An interesting roster move was Marcelo Margot playing as the first attacker on the D side, the same role he played as a rising phenom at the beginning of his career over a decade ago. He excelled in this position, which he was forced to play with Dalton Vanderbilt still sidelined with an injury. Also, Blake Yarber had again been carving bodies up in the center, and the whole team was locked in. They looked primed to make a run at winning 2 World Cups in a row. Dynasty went undefeated in the prelims, with hard-fought wins over AC Diesel, the Ironman, AC Dallas, and Aftermath. They matched up against Damage, who was warmed up after the wildcard win against Revo.
You know, you see Tampa Bay Damage, a team that all year long has underperformed, has all the grit, all the talent, all the experience, you know, the veteranship. Like that team, you see that on paper and you see like the story of the year where, you know, they've underperformed and they know it. So I know they're hungry. They have more heart than almost any team in the league. Now it's a chance for them to win World Cup in their backyard. They're gonna be tough.
Yeah, we go into Sunday against Damage, who already had to play a game in the morning, which can work against you or for you. Sometimes it tires them out and you're fresh, or sometimes it warms them up and you're cold. They have an elite team. And they got Keith Brown, Chad Bougere, who's, I mean, that dude is playing lights out this year. He played great against us.
Dude, that for us, that like making it to Sunday is such a huge relief because I know the team can perform on Sundays. Like we get so much sharper and so much more dangerous as we progress. If Dynasty starts making it through the, you know, quarterfinals into the semifinals, I feel like teams have to say like, oh fuck, you know, we're gonna have to play those guys in the finals.
In the first point, Dynasty was the first to strike, shooting Brad McCurley and then Keith Brown, storming down the field to earn the early lead.
In a Sunday match, the first point is crucial. The second point, if it comes down to a long drawn out point, it's very crucial. And that's what this was. It was a longer point.
Arturo Andrade and Yosh Rao pushed the Snake side in point 2. Though Dynasty dropped bodies, Margot and Short finished off Edwards and McCurley to take the 2-point lead.
We went down a body or two and I decided to attack on the Dorito side, you know, because people weren't looking that way. It was very, very easy to recognize, you know, your opportunities over there. It was if this, then that.
For our team right now, I feel like Marcelo is such a key part that if he doesn't play well, if he doesn't do his thing, the team will not succeed.
You know that he's gonna be there at the end to either hopefully hit the buzzer and clean up or make sure the other team doesn't do that. That is a perfect example of his playing style and his everything, because he's not the bruiser, right? If he's the bruiser, you're never gonna be clutch because you're usually not in at the end of the game. And so he obviously stepped up because the team needed him to step up. And that was like the best thing that could have happened, because that will now allow him to expand that role. Like, he always had that confidence. It was just, he liked to be that number 2 guy to kind of help out and be on that defense, but we needed offense and we needed a guy that could do it consistently. And so I'm really glad that he was the guy that stepped up to do it.
Unfortunately for Damage, they were never able to win the close points until it was too late. Their season would end here, and Dynasty would advance.
I feel like we kind of had control the whole time. I did have my limp off point, I think that was the first point of the match, which I felt like was one of my most glorious moments.
The game was a lot closer than that, you know, and you'll see that in matches. You'll see that all the time, where a score just doesn't dictate or showcase exactly how close that match was. And to me, I felt that was the case for the Damage match, because every point was a battle.
You play against these guys for 10, 15 years and you go from idolizing them to being their peers and trading shots with them for over a decade, and then to get eliminated by them and end the career that, at least by my own choice, for my own reasons. It was good. I mean, it is what it is, and I can walk away with a smile on my face knowing that I accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish.
B Short here at World Cup 2021. We just got done playing Tampa Bay Damage. They put up a good match. We played nice and methodical teamwork. We were able to whittle them down. I believe the final score was 6-3.
5 minutes.
Team's playing well, guys are playing well, and we're excited for the next round.
That's how we win. We fucking link up, dude.
Yes.
Way to be, Ryan.
Yeah, Randy. Let's go.
What's up, boy?
Yeah, fucking A.
You are nasty!
One!
You are nasty!
One!
You are nasty!
1, 2, 3,
Team!
Let's go. Hey, hey.
Rainey, man, he's probably brought so many good things, all good things to X Factor. I mean, he's like a player coach. He sees the field like a coach, but can play like one of the best in the game currently. So right there holds a unique value that 99% of paintball doesn't have. He has that drive where he really wants to win. I think a lot of guys talk about wanting to win because that's what they're supposed to do and say, but there's the guys that are actually doing it by action. And he works hard. He's a student of the game. He knows the psychological and the physical parts of paintball and knows how to push it. And you're seeing it. You see the results. Whatever team he's on, he makes a difference. And he's won with probably every team he's been on. So.
The semifinal game between Houston Heat and XFactor was a rematch from their close fight in the prelims. Since XFactor had taken the come-from-behind victory, could have called them a slight favorite here, but Houston Heat has been deadly on Sundays in the very recent past. XFactor continued how they left off in the prelim battle, and they put up the first 2 points, including a low-body situation in point number 2 where their new pickup, Tom Guest, shined. He was brought on to help carry some weight with Stanzik still dealing with a back injury, and he had been earning his keep.
It's not about the first, the second, or fourth guy. It's the guy that comes in. It's the fifth dude. It's the sixth guy that comes off the bench. It's the guy off the bench that wins the tournament. Yes, the J-Rabs, the Mouses, the Rainies, the Archies, the Fedorovs, like they're gonna do stuff. But you need that other dude. You need all 5.
But undaunted, Houston Heat would not go quietly as they rallied back. They put up 4 unanswered points to take the lead, and they had everyone on the starting line, including Tyler Harmon, Chad George, Konstantin Fedorov, Ryan Smith and Ronnie Dizon contributing kills, winning gunfights, taking ground, and most importantly, taking advantage of XFactor's mistakes.
Sometimes you win a point, and then sometimes you win a point with an emphasis that makes the other team worry a little bit more.
The score was 4-2 for Heat, with 6 minutes and 48 seconds left. XFactor then pulled within 1 in the next point. Chad George and Billy Bernacci were shot off the break, and it started 4-on-4. Fedorov also took the early walk, and XFactor had a high body situation.
You have 2 of the best snake players in the game going head to head over there, and both definitely doing a lot of damage for their respective teams. So you just got to keep sending them. Really, at the end of the day, the kills that those guys were getting were huge, and every time somebody's in there, then that kind of dictates what few of the guys on the field are going to do on each team. Whoever won the snake battle won most of those games.
It was Colt Roberts, Rainey Stanzik, and Meter Ninos who finished it off for XFactor. Then XFactor tied up the match, with Roberts and Montemayor getting the last kills. It was anyone's game with just 1 minute and 34 seconds left. Then Heat lost Chad George to a questionable call, and Montemayor came off as well to even the count. But it was Billy Bernacci who torched Heat for multiple kills to put up what would be the winning point on the board.
Bernaccia coming through, getting everyone. Might have been a 4-pack here for Billy Bernaccia.
Windows of opportunity kept opening, and we didn't really put the pressure on and close that game the way that we should have closed that game.
Is going to combo here. They got to hit the deck. Are they going to get it in time? Konstantin Fedorov. Konstantin Fedorov diving up and over the top on a somersault.
I think they said no.
I don't know, man. So it's going to be another tense moment for Jason, as he's going to have to go down and try to figure out whether or not he got there in time. But
Yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be heartbreaking for Houston Heat, but they did not get it, so that is game over.
Oh, what a way to lose the World Cup. It doesn't get any closer than that. I mean, inches. It was literally inches.
World Cup, baby. It's our time. Hey, thanks, guys.
That was fucking badass. Fucking badass. Hey. Good luck. You want to fight? Good luck. Thank you. Good luck. I love you,
I spent, I guess, the tenure of my career with Infamous and with Travis and all the boys. So it's always really cool for us to see Trav and those guys succeeding, not only on the field, but off the field. And he's always, talked about his dream being a self-sustaining team, and seeing them to where they are now, having their big ass booth that they have now, all the products, and really doing what they can to be a self-sustaining team. It's super cool to see. Mad love, mad props to everything that they're doing and continue to do. Seeing that, the way it was going to play out with those two teams, obviously you knew who I was rooting for.
It would be Infamous versus Dynasty in the semifinals.
The semifinal game against Infamous is a huge game for both of us. I mean, they've been fighting for several years to get to this point. I mean, that's a big game. Like, I know in my mind, this is the one I want to win more than any one of them. I mean, even the finals in a way, because the series title means you're the most consistent team. That's a huge award.
Infamous had a great season. I know that they knew what was on the line. They also had a chance to steal some magic.
The first point was an aggressive showcase, an indication of how close this game would be, as both teams fought for ground all across the field. Greenspan was able to take back initiative in the Snake with a 2-pack of kills, and it came down to a 1-on-1 between Cody Mikowski and Blake Yarber, who was down to his last pod.
Cody going gun dominant. Now Blake's he's gonna get gun dominant up on Cody as Cody loads, but Blake is on to Infamous' side of the field, so a little slight advantage just on position right now here, Alex.
And Yarber takes it.
Blake Yarber gonna do the loader dump here at a big moment in point number 1.
Infamous tied it up in the next point, and these two evenly matched squads kept up their attacks as they battled back and forth.
Cody Mikowski runs coast to coast. No one picks him up. You have to keep a gun on that D side. Battle between Zach Patient as Brandon Short tried to make something happen, but the point stolen by Cody Mikowski because Dynasty makes a big error of not putting a gun on that D side. Tie ball game right now with Infamous and Dynasty. Under 10 minutes to go. Heavy guns up for Dynasty. In the center, they risk 2 bodies out wide, and it does produce a kill.
I felt the groove, and I felt the team coming together, and watching Ryan make some of those moves up the middle, just seeing the field through that middle section. No matter where they were, they could be on our side of the Snake, they could be, in the Doritos, they could be in the spots. We were finding them, and we were making the moves to win the game.
Yarber, the first one to make a move up to that wedge on the Dorito side, and Greg matching him.
In point number 4, Greg Sewers would put Infamous on his back in a low body situation in what could be the last performance of a long and storied career.
Do you think he's... Oh my God, Greg Sewers gets a shot in on a tactical retreat from Urena, so they get the drop in on Blake. Here comes Marcelo. He's still alive as the last body for Dynasty to try to save this one. Greg should have a crossfield shot in. One-on-one, I think, right now with Marcelo and Greg. But Greg was able to get the drop in on him, so Greg Sewers, it's multiple kills to save the point for Infamous to tie the game up right now.
Greg beat me in Chicago in a one-on-one in the semifinal match too, so don't think I forgot it. Greg had a phenomenal season. He played out of his mind all year.
With still 6 minutes and 44 seconds left, the game was tied at 2. Mike Urena went to work for Dynasty on the Snake side, and Dynasty's brutal accuracy and zone control was on display.
He's gonna launch, gets smoked before he gets there.
Blake is a master at the game. He studies, he watches film, he's fucking dynamite. He read that move entirely, saved Mikey, shoots him, and makes sure that he can't still squeeze one off on Mikey in the snake. I love the extra painting put on Harrison too, because he knows what Harrison was trying to do.
I feel like he was, masterful in how he was like setting the traps sometimes and being the aggressor sometimes. Kind of just had that timing down.
Down by 2 with the tournament on the line, Infamous needed points and they needed them fast, as they only had 3 minutes to work with.
But here comes the push up the center of the field with Cody Mikowski. He's going to get the shot. Mike, you're going to get stitched up too. Cody's going to blaze through, goes through untouched, and Cody Mikowski up the center of the field with some help from Patient and Sewers. They got it done, but I think it took them a little bit too much time.
Infamous now had 34 seconds left to tie it and take it to overtime and keep their season alive.
Here comes a big move from Harrison Fry up the center field. He gets one, shoots out Blake Yarber, and he stays alive, so he's going to have a chance here. I don't know if he's going to have enough time. 10 seconds, he's hunting for it. He's going to trade out with Yosh, and that is going to be the game conclusion here as San Diego Dynasty punching their ticket to yet another World Cup Finals. Can they make it 2 in a row? I also think that seals up the series title here for San Diego Dynasty, so what a great resurgence for one of the longest running pro teams ever.
That was your last match, your last few points as a pro player. I'm trying to make it soak in for you. How are you feeling?
You know, I wish I was sad now because I know it's going to set in later, but it's the competitor's edge. You know, I feel like, oh, just on to the next one. Get over it. A loss is a loss. You win some, you lose some, and you probably lose more than you win throughout a career. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But we'll see. I'm going to miss my friends. I'm going to miss the game, but I'll be around. Give me a couple years. Yeah, come on back. Dangerous.
Some people get on this team and they think, okay, I'm on Dynasty, they're just gonna win for me. It's not the way it is. You've got to go up and win for them. We're just focused on us.
We're gonna shock the fuck out of them, all right? Let's go, baby! Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team! Team on NXT! What?
Love the X Factor guys. It's going to be a regular old showdown. So great camp over there. Can't have enough great things to say about Alex and the boys. So you know, it's going to be good, clean fun.
This is the fucking dream, right? Like, you go to bed dreaming you get to play Impact on Sunday and send them home. Then you dream you get to play Houston Heat. Who's the other Titan? Dynasty. So when I said we had Impact, I was like, I hope we get Heat. I hope we get Dynasty. There's no better feeling than going up against the big Titans. So this is the last boss of the final level, and hopefully we come out with the dub. I mean, there's no pressure right here. We're just having fun. Everyone's just happy to be here. Colt's happy to be here. I'm happy to be playing. Tom's happy to be out of Canada. Shorty's happy to be on the team. You know, like, everyone's just here having fun, enjoying the moment. You know, hopefully we get a couple more moments at the end of the day.
I'm super aware of my timeline, and I feel like as I get older, I'm trying to hold on to it even more. I'm like, okay, I've got to go and enjoy this as much as I possibly can, because not that I took it for granted before, I realized that there's only so many more chances.
So new X Factor. Looks like starting lineup, it is going to be Blake Yarber, Marcelo Margot, D-side. And on the breakout here, let's see how much ground these teams take. Oh my God, Cyclops, Mike Arena.
Dynasty was the first to put up a point on the board, but X Factor answered. Then the game went back and forth until it was all tied at 2 apiece.
For a second, but Dynasty clocks in and wins a couple. Gunfight victories here to put the first point on the board. This point's going to go to San Antonio X Factor as Billy Bernaccia is going to run up, clear the field, and put the first point up for X Factor to tie this one up. And it's looking pretty good right now for San Diego Dynasty with a 1-point lead.
Dynasty played aggressive though, as they lost Marcelo Margot on the break, and Blake Yarber made a big move past the 50 as he got a shot on Billy Bernacchi to even the count.
Made it multiple times, but we really haven't seen too much. Oh, and he's going to eat Billy up.
Golden barrel.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. It's early to call, but that was a clutch move.
Colt just found him.
Colt's going to come through, and he gets him at the exact time, and now Colt Roberts comes through. Does he get two?
No. When you're Billy and that happens to you, for the rest of the match, you're like, where's that guy in the middle hiding? What am I going to do? And like, I think that's where we shut him down from.
Archie Montemayor pushed down to hit the buzzer while Brandon Short was still alive. It was a close call for XFactor, but they got the point and they took the lead.
And he gets shot, but not before he hit the buzzer. And Archie knew it. Archie's like, I hit the buzzer.
But Dynasty was not able to contain XFactor from the pocket in the next point, and XFactor extended their lead to 2. So down by 2, Dynasty went on the offensive as the chess match of moves in the center played out. Margot and Greenspan stayed alive and worked up the field getting kills to save the point and slim the margin. They tied it up again in the next point, shooting Archie Montemayor and Billy Bernacchi on the break, though Meter Ninos clocked in with a 3-pack to make it interesting. Yosh Rao held his attack long enough to let Margot hit the buzzer.
Meter also hit the buzzer, so like, you know, everybody was like, oh no, he hit the buzzer too, and I looked down and I was like, damn it, I probably blew it.
They gave XFactor the point temporarily. So we're standing at the flag station, looking up the scoreboard, it changes to 4-4. In the back of my mind, I'm like, you know how they feel right now? They feel like they just got their candy taken away.
Then the boys in blue put up their third unanswered point, as Bernacchi went into the Snake 50 early, but he was taken out by Yarber. It was a crucial kill which allowed Mike Urena and Brandon Short to get up the field, with Margot also getting kills from the D side again. But true to form, XFactor continued to fight and they tied it back up in a close point. It was decided by a penalty on Dynasty.
This is the point. With 3 minutes left, XFactor needs this one.
Yeah, he's
definitely saw something blow off.
Yeah, he's making the referee make the call, looks like.
It might have been off the bunker, though. Move down the side.
And a penalty
assessed on San Diego Dynasty. It's going to be a minor.
It was now 5-5 with just 2 minutes and 26 seconds left. XFactor put a shot on Alex Frazier to go up a body early, but Margot won a crucial gunfight with Montemayor to get the count even. Yarber again attacked up the center and the bodies dropped from both teams. But Mike Urena stepped up with a few crucial kills to seal up the 5-6 lead.
Over the shoulder as Blake makes his move. Blake comes across as to get the shot on Rainey. He does not. And then Rainey's going to get taken out by Mike Urena.
With only a minute and 10 seconds left, XFactor pushed into Dynasty's guns. They lost Archie, Colt off the break. Meter Ninos and Rainey Stanzik stormed down the field and shot everyone to put one more point on the board.
Look at this though, Meter Ninos is going to come through, shoot 1, shoot 2, shoot 3.
He either didn't know that I was there or he just wasn't prepared to shoot me. It's not like he was coming to bunker me. It was almost like he was coming in to just hit the buzzer. And I could feel paintballs like pelting my back and the back of my head. I could feel them pelting Ryan as he was, and I felt like just throwing my arm around him and just like enjoying it, you know?
Let's go! Let's fucking go! Fucking go!
The lead would hold, and Dynasty would take its second World Cup title in a row and the 2021 NXL Series Championship.
Part of the fun of this game is the constant challenge. I think it's understood that we're here to have fun. I mean, you could win 5 tournaments in a row and then stink in the next one, and people will say you stink, you know? But if you have fun in all those tournaments, it doesn't matter what people think, right? I mean, you're out there having fun, and that's an internal thing. And that, I mean, I think that's like just part of what makes Dynasty magic.
The opportunity to go attack in an event, show a different side of myself, or play differently, that's the best opportunity I could have. And World Cup was a special experience because I was able to do that not on my own will, but like the team needed it.
They just played Dynasty Paintball. They really just were who they were, and whoever stood in front of them, they played hard, they talked, they didn't make mistakes, and they believed that they could win every game.
Heart really wins tournaments still to this day, and I think Dynasty did a good job of showing that.
What do we want to do to change the game, to set records, to leave an imprint that people look at and say, how is anybody ever going to top that? Now we're in a position to do it 3 years in a row, which no team has done. No team has done.
A season that was pretty crazy, all things considered. We lost players, we had injuries, but Dynasty again is the world champ, back-to-back champions series, the whole deal. I want to thank everybody. Congratulations to Marcelo and Blake, who played insane the entire weekend, and they deserve the golden barrels. So thank you to everybody who's watching at home. Hope you're a Dynasty fan. If you weren't already a Dynasty fan, please come on. We're good guys, I promise. Other than that, we love everybody. Come here, you! Rah! And thanks for all the support for everybody who's watching at home. And we love paintball. We love you guys.
Art's #1, baby! Art!
Those two smashed that bottle of Jameson within like the first 10 minutes. I'm not always an asshole. Just kidding, go fuck yourself.
And he's like, I'm like, how do you see me go in there? He's like, I had a radio. Let's go, gamer.
And he fucking went and got his brain blown out.
The best point I've ever played in my life, I fucked up.
I have to pee, but the pees keep me warm, so I ain't peeing.
This fucking plane is just about to crash into the house right now. Oh shit!
That shit happened.
Right, if you can shoot a guy on the break and then you work your way to a spot where you can go bunker somebody, that's like, yay, that's the funnest game I've played in a while, and you get to run off, right?
Woo! Yeah. I was like, all right. Getting fucking a little chilly out here. I got a flannel on and I'm like, let's go.
I mean, I got a warm body, but I'm like, oh man, I'm getting cold. Yeah. Or I thought he was gonna come with the hoodie on me. I was like, yeah, there you go. You can block the wind. I'm like, all right, whatever.
No, I can't? Oh, you block the wind?
Shit.
I need the hoodie.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Perfect.
Hopefully the audio comes out good.
I think it'll be.
So if not, that's what I'm saying. Listen to the audio, make sure it's Gucci just in case we got to do something.